As on Thursday, the Federal Reserve announced they will inject another $2.3 trillion to prop up the U.S. economy. The cornerstone of the loan is a $600 billion Main Street lending program to offer support for small and mid-sized businesses struggling during the coronavirus pandemic. Joining us now is Dan Simon, author of the book The Money Hackers: How a Group of Misfits Took on Wall Street and Changed Finance Forever, as well as the CEO of Vested. Dan, good to see you here with us today. Thanks for taking the time. How does the Main Street Lending Program help small and mid-sized businesses that the previous stimulus package didn't?
Well, it's a lot of money, and it's just one of many, as you're pointing out, stimuluses that the federal government and the Fed are throwing at small businesses right now. We had the CARES Act a couple of weeks ago. A massive piece of that was the $350 billion what's called the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program. Then you have the Fed's announcement yesterday, which is pretty unprecedented. It's going to inject a lot of money into states, into municipalities, and as you mentioned, into small businesses. And now again, you've got Congress, the Senate is wrangling over potentially another $250 billion to go into that PPP, that payroll protection program.
Right.
So there's a lot of money flooding into small businesses, or at least earmarked for small businesses. The issue is time, unfortunately. Most small businesses, there are 32 million small businesses in this country. 90% of them have fewer than 20 employees, and most of them have 10 days of working capital. So that means they've got 10 days of not earning money before they start having to lay people off or go out of business altogether.
And so earlier this week, Small Business Administration saying financial tech leaders, fintech leaders, and lenders are now eligible to participate in the Paycheck Protection Program. Break this down for us. What does this mean for the fintech community? And this is going to be providing small businesses with loans for certain payroll expenses. But we've seen the record numbers of workers filing for unemployment, including another 6.6 million last week. Did the SBA's inclusion of fintech lenders come too late?
It's certainly not come too early. To break it down, obviously, as I said, there's a lot of money going into the banks to disperse to small businesses. The problem is that traditional financial institutions and SBA lenders are not well equipped. They weren't before this crisis to handle small businesses, and certainly not at this scale of demand. That you can't just walk into a bank as a small business and they just write you a cut of this PPP money sight unseen. They're going to need to do certain things. There's a certain process they have to go through, and that is why they're prioritizing small businesses they already have a line of credit relationship with. To be fair, the banks never wanted to serve the smallest end of the small business market, even before this crisis. And the reason is it costs just as much to originate a $10 million loan as it does to a $10,000 loan. So they are right now prioritizing the bigger end of the small business market. So the PPP caps at 500 employees. So you can think banks are thinking about places with 499 employees. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you look outside your window on Main Street to your favorite little diner or your independent coffee shop or your bookstore, they are not employing hundreds and hundreds of people. They are, as I said, in that 90% of small businesses that employ fewer than 20 people, and they are most vulnerable and they are at the back of the line. So traditional banks are not well suited to disperse this much money very quickly. And the fintechs, the people like Cabbage and OnDeck and Square, who have lending relationships with small businesses, have been lobbying the government and the SBA and the Treasury Department very aggressively to become part of dispersing that PPP funds. But they only made it available to these fintechs on Wednesday night, and it is now Friday afternoon. So, I don't want to say it's too little too late, but obviously every minute counts. Given how little cash flow most of these small businesses have, we need this technology, these fintechs, to get this PPP money to people quickly.
All right, Dan, we're running out of time here. You have a new book, Money Hackers. It comes out on Tuesday, correct?
It does indeed, yes.
Okay, and where can it be found?
You can find it just on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, and it's called The Money Hackers. It's the story of these fintech innovators over the last 10 years and how they fundamentally changed our money.
All right. Dan Simon, author of the book Money Hackers, How a Group of Misfits Took on Wall Street and Changed Finance Forever, as well as the CEO of Vested. Dan, good to see you here this afternoon.